Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Wrestling Travels Lockdown Sessions, brought to you, as always, by our good friends over in New York City, True Heel Heat Wrestling. Check out SP3 and the gang. They know everything about pro wrestling, and you'll always learn something. But we're going to learn something today. We are joined by a very special guest, Sledge. Welcome to the show.
What's up, man? Hopefully, like we were talking offline, that our internet holds up here because we're locked down.
You're definitely in lockdown over there in Baltimore. But yeah, I always, anytime the Wi-Fi quality is low, it always feels like I'm stepping on each other's toes. So we'll hope for the best. The worst part about it is, Sledge, is when I talk to you for like 20 minutes before we start recording, everything's fine. As soon as we hit record, it's going to be like, so you are joining us from Baltimore. Are you able to tell us why you're in Baltimore?
Ring of Honor tapings. That's pretty much all I can really say to that. We're in the Ring of Honor bubble right now. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can really say to that aspect of it. It's all over Twitter. Everybody knows that we're all here in the Ring of Honor bubble. Hashtag ROH Bubble. We're all doing daily vlogs of what we're doing inside quarantine because, well, we can't go anywhere. So until the taping. So we all had COVID tests. Ring of Honor has been absolutely fantastic to keep us 100% safe and 100% made sure that everything was done by the book and got us fantastic hotels, all that fun stuff, besides the Wi-Fi.
That's the Wi-Fi, yes. And I don't think that's their fault. I think Baltimore just has at least a couple times I've been in there, it's always been like a Wi-Fi. Yeah, I was almost better not connecting to the Wi-Fi.
And that's literally what I am right now. I'm not connected to the Wi-Fi, and here we are. We're working out.
Now everything's clear.
Yeah, now everything's clear. Thank you, 4G.
Yes. Now, usually what I do is I started this lockdown session. As we've talked, Wrestling travels out of the United Kingdom. We bring fans all over the world to their favorite wrestling events. So since the lockdown, the pandemic, we'll get into that, we started doing these interviews, which has been awesome because the fans have getting a chance to know a little bit about their wrestlers. Now, I want to talk about, how long have you been in the business then, Sledge?
9 years. I just passed my 9 years.
9 years, and we know you trained out at APW in California?
That's not 100% correct.
Okay.
I've done work
Wikipedia.
The Wikipedia. I'm on Wikipedia.
I don't know if it's Wikipedia or some wrestling site, but I'm such a journalist.
Yeah. No, it's all good. It's all good. I've trained all over the place, man. There are a lot in California, definitely. I originally started with a company called Vendetta Pro Wrestling out of Santa Maria, California. I only trained for 2 months, and then I was kind of out on the road, learning to, on the fly, 100%. APW, I did wrestle at APW a bunch of times. I did a bunch of camps over there, but they weren't my original trainers. So I give a lot of the credit to Gangrel, the Ballard brothers, Shannon and Shane, Tsunami, Caden. They were a lot of some of the local guys. That's about it, and I just traveled all around. I've had really good mentors in the business, really good mentors to kind of take me underneath their wing and show me kind of the ropes, and being able to travel all over the place like I have to learn different styles, and then being able to go to the ROH dojo and learning a different style. It's just been another knowledge. You never stop learning in this business. So.
That's what I was going to say. That's the thing. I always like to ask people who they broke in with. But the cool thing about this business, and really I suppose it's true about anything, is you just never stop learning. Once you think you know it all, you're done,
Oh, geez. It's so stupid, how much stuff I've learned in the last 6 months. And even during the coronavirus, how much
Come on, boy.
I've learned, absolutely. And it's a horrible thing that the world is under a huge stress right now, and suicide rate has skyrocketed. But I've taken time to reset myself and to rebuild, and that's exactly what I've done.
It's good, like you said, and we are an unstable internet connection right now, so we're gonna stick with it.
Let me see if I move you. Maybe that will help.
and I think it's on my end too. It keeps saying,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So that's the thing that happens. I'm gonna try to close off a bunch of apps on my. Went from hotspotting what I do regular, so I'm doing it on my phone. I live out in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin, so sometimes I'm lucky I got.
Okay.
But, I'm closing out all the apps on here and see if. So you train with all over the Ballard twins. I had no idea what they were up to. That's kind of cool. So they're out in. They're doing a little. Are they officially?
They're out in California. Yep.
Are they officially running trainings at schools and stuff?
Not that I know of officially, but the company I worked for when I first started, they brought them in a lot, and I was in a tag team called Creep Show, so I worked them a lot, and I constantly was learning from Shannon and Shane, and they just kept taking me under their wing, and then we started traveling all over the place with them, and we just started, just learning underneath the tree. Shannon Ballard was one of the first trainers of John Cena. One of those guys like that, to be able to be under a learning tree, who has worked, all over the world and has done amazing things. It's a blessing in disguise. And I'll give the Ballard brothers so much credit for who I am and where I'm at.
Now, this is, don't yell at me for asking this question, but I've got to know just for myself.
Yeah.
Are they still sporting the mullets, or are they gone?
No, I think at the time with me, they had long hair. They still have long hair. Yeah,
All
they
right.
still have the long hair. I think Shannon cut his finally. I think, don't quote me on that. You'd have to look it up. I'm almost positive he cut his finally. And Shane, I still believe, has long hair. I'm not 100% sure.
No, that's why they call me a journalist. I have all the hard-hitting questions going on right now.
Yeah, about hair.
People want to know. One of the things I wanted to ask you, your path to Ring of Honor, from what I'm reading, and this is where you're going to correct me and go, you got it wrong, you got it right, or let me explain.
You're wrong right off the bat.
Yes, thank you.
Kidding.
Finally, somebody just says, dude.
No, go ahead.
Your path, I know that you're free to talk about, and I think it helps people, but drugs and alcohol and depression. Can you talk about that? Because I think that this is the best time to talk about. It's always a good time to get stuff out and talk about it, but this 2020 just feels like it's always pressuring us and pushing down. So
it's a huge weight on everybody's shoulder. Yeah, it's a huge weight on everybody's shoulder. Drugs and alcohol. I'm now 6 years clean and sober. Drugs and alcohol definitely. I got hot on the indies really, really quick, and I took wrestling as. I didn't take it as like a job. Like I was gonna do it as a job. I took it as I'm gonna do it as, I'm gonna party and I'm gonna hang out and I'm gonna be a big, rock star, And that's what I did. Is I partied and I was going to the after parties and I was just doing stupid shit, is the best way to put it. And it all caught, all your demons and stuff like that, man. They all catch up to you sooner or later. And it caught up to me, and I lost everything, man. Everything. I lost, my wife at the time. I lost her. I lost my kids. My kids didn't want to be around me, like nothing, And when stuff like that happens, where nobody wants to be around you, no one wants to return your text messages, no one wants to, literally, like, just reach out to try to help you, because you don't realize how bad you are, is a very dark time. And I thought about taking my life. I really did. I sent some texts, some texts out, and was like, hey, take care of so and so for me, yada yada yada. Until like my best friend, my old tag partner, JD Horror, decided to, finally answered my phone call. And he's like, hey bro, like we need to sit down, we need to have a talk. And he's the one who really kind of turned the light bulb on for me. It was like, hey man, you're really messed up. I was addicted to pain pills. I was addicted to alcohol, and I was addicted to the party. And I lost, it'd take me to lose everything to hit rock bottom to realize that that you need to make life changes. And I did, but I substituted my alcohol addiction and my drug addiction with a food addiction. And I depress eat. It's what I do is when I'm depressed, I eat. I don't go to drugs and alcohol anymore. I just eat and I eat and I eat and I battle depression every single day. And somebody out there who's watching this understands you're not alone. Even guys like me have problems. I'm nobody special. I just wrestle for Ring of Honor. That's it. You know, I'm just like you. I have, you know, I battle demons, I battle depression, but understand that it's how you wake up every morning. It's how you're going to set your day right. Meaning, when you wake up in the morning and you think to yourself, you're going to have a bad day, you're going to have a bad day. Bottom line, your mindset's already that way. But if you wake up in the morning and you set a goal, doesn't matter if it's the smallest goal. I'm going to go walk a mile today. And you set that goal and you go and you hit that goal. I went and walked a mile, even a half mile, even doesn't matter. You realize that I can do something and I can do this. And then your day starts getting better. And then your mind starts turning how things can get better. You know, positive thinking gets positive results. And I truly, truly, truly believe that. And that's how I suppress my depression every day. Is I wake up every morning and I look at myself in the mirror and go, what am I going to accomplish today? What am I going to do today? What can I control today? And that's how I, you know, live my life now. You know, yeah, I'm a big badass in the ring and don't cross me in the ring. I'll smack the shit out of you. But, you know, it's just, you know, life is what you make it 100%. I never thought I would wrestle, you know, I never thought personally I would wrestle for Ring of Honor because I was an alcoholic. I was a drug addict. I was a guy who was thinking about taking his life. 6 years later, now I work for one of the biggest wrestling companies in the world. You know, it's mind blowing. You know, it really is. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent. I do that sometimes. I apologize.
Dude, when you get bored in the bubble again, put on some of my lockdown sessions and watch me talk for a half hour and the guests going, well, what's the question? You know, it's just, I tell everybody, my goal is to go 20 minutes. And then I had poor Nikita Koloff on here for like an hour 20. And he's a nice guy, so he was all about it. But I'm like thinking about it, man, me and Nikita Koloff went an hour and 20 and it felt like 10 minutes to me. Because
Jeez, I was blown. I'd be blown up.
Yeah. Well, sometimes. No, but I think it's important, and that's one of the things that you know, conversations on the lockdown sessions here. I just let them go wherever they go, and that's been some of the best feedback. Is it's like, yeah, I'm fly on the wall, listen to two guys shoot the shit, but your message is something that is very important because I've been there where you're depressed, but I've also been the guy that's like, all right, man, everything, I just got to deal with it and everything. And you just internalize it. And, you know, it's really nice. I think a message for everybody to hear that, hey, yeah, dude, I look like a big badass in the ring and I'm kicking ass with Ring of Honor now, but it's a battle.
Yeah, 100%, you know, and, you know, you'll win that battle if you put your mind to it. You really will. And only worry about what you can control. Worry about your inner circle is kind of the best way to put it, you know, no pun intended. Don't worry about all the outside noise. You can't control all that outside noise. Control inside your inner circle. And your life will be so much better. It really will. And I have I'm trying to think of the best way. My mentors in mental health have been fantastic for me, like Gabe Tuff, you know, owner of Body Spartan. You know, I think his name was Tyler Rex on NXT. Joshua Coburn, you know, all those motivational guys, you know, Tony Robbins, you know, motivational guys that really really drive it home because they've all been there, just like I've been there. You know, they really drive it home. And a lot of times people just need to hear that they can do it. This world is so entrepreneurish right now where you can literally do anything you want in this world if you put your mind to it and you're willing to put the hard work. And understand, sure, all the hard work, you are going to have hard times to the point of where you want to give up. But if you get mentally strong, you'll push through those hard times and you'll succeed. You can do anything in this world, anything you want.
Now, my question, I'm going to jump around. I'm going to stay with
Go
you.
for it.
When you're in the bubble at Ring of Honor, so you're there
Mm-hmm.
for approximately a week. So that constant battle with depression, is that, because basically you do your, if I've got it right, you're doing your COVID test, and now you're kind of hanging out in your room for 2 days. Mentally,
Mm-hmm.
is that a struggle, or is that kind of easier because you kind of know that, hey, I'm stuck here for 2 days. It is what it is. Is that easier or harder? Or
It's one of those things where it's kind of hard to be goal oriented in that, because I can't go anywhere. I see four walls, but it's one of those things where I make the best out of the situation. I'm here to do a job, and my fun is coming, so I just have to just hang tight for just a little bit, and then my fun is coming. All the hard work, everything that I've put my body through, everything that I've put everybody else through, all the doubters, all the haters, all of them who believe that I don't belong in Ring of Honor will soon find out why I belong here. And that's where my mindset is.
Love it. Talk to me now about your path to how did you go? You go from rock bottom, the only way to go is up. Now walk me between that step and where you are right now with Ring of Honor. How did you, I realize that question could go 37 different ways, and it's probably a long story.
Brother, I'm trying to grab a hold. You might want to try to grab a hold on this one, It's one of those things, man, where I got motivated because I'm sitting at home and I'm watching all the guys that I've wrestled in California. Lucha Underground got huge, and it was based out of California, LA. And I'm watching all the people that I've wrestled in California multiple times, killer matches. Jeff Cobb's one of them. And they're just launching their careers. I'm sitting on the couch. You know how miserable that looks? You know how miserable that is? When you're sitting on the couch and you're in your own thoughts and you're just thinking to yourself, and I'm working a good job. I got a good job. I was a linesman, I was making good money. I was happy. No, just kidding. I wasn't, and I'm watching all the people, that I've wrestled multiple times, getting signed to bigger places. I'm thinking to myself, man, if I would have, and I was only wrestling maybe because the word got out that I was an alcoholic and I was a drug addict, and in California, nobody really wanted to touch me. So I was only maybe wrestling maybe once a month, of that, if I was lucky, and I decided to change my life right then and there even more. I decided to get back in the gym, get my body right, and just start rocking and rolling. And one grace of God, I got a break. And I never thought, I did a WWE tryout in 2013. I went in, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on air, and I apologize, but I went in I'll say it, I didn't go in the best frame of mind. Let's just put it that way. And I never thought that I would ever hear from WWE again. And I'm like, man, next thing you know, boom, they're sending me emails to come do extra work. I'm like, whoa, all right, cool. And then companies in California started taking a chance on me again. Yeah, the grace of God, I was in the right place at the right time, and I got on Steve Austin's podcast, Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast. And that helped launch me into a different bracket with independence. Now I'm traveling. Once that came out, my phone didn't stop for companies wanting to book me. And I'm like, man, now we're off to the races. Now, I'm going to England and I'm doing a month tour over there with WAW, Soraya Knight, his family. They just did a movie about him, fighting with my family. And next thing you know, I'm doing Impact. And it's just boom, it's snowballing. But then one thing happened is I took a chance on myself, because Ring of Honor is always where I've always wanted to be. Ring of Honor had no idea who I was. I had a little bit of indie heat. I want to say not heat, but a little bit of steam. They had no idea who I was. A couple of the Ring of Honor guys knew who I was because Jeff Cobb was there. A couple of the California guys that were signed by Ring of Honor knew who I was. I went there, the 17th anniversary show that was in Vegas. It was the night that Jay Lethal faced Matt Taven in a 1 hour. I want to say it was a draw, if I'm not mistaken. It went 1 hour. Yeah, it was a draw, if I'm not mistaken. And I busted my butt. They didn't know I putting up the ring, guardrails, whatever, it didn't matter, just for an opportunity, just for a shot. And thankfully, that got eyes on me. And then they asked me to Madison Square Garden. I went to Madison Square Garden. From Madison Square Garden, they asked me to do a tryout. Did a tryout. I was at the dojo by September. By September to March of 2020? Yeah, 2020, right? No. Yeah, 2020. I signed my first deal with Ring of Honor.
Wow. I was at the Madison Square Garden show.
I was there. Sweet. I was working. I was inside the box working.
Fantastic. Yeah, I had. I could go to the Hall of Fame, or fresh off a knee injury, my hotel was right across the street from Madison Square Garden. So, off to the Scalpers I went.
Oh, nice. I hiked 26 blocks to get there because I was at the hotel where WrestleCon was being held. Because I did WrestleCon. That was 26 blocks. So I dragged my bag 26 blocks all the way down. What's the big? I don't remember what it's called. New York City. Times Square? Is that what it's called? Times Square?
Yeah.
I dragging my rollaway down Times Square in my suit all the way to Madison Square Garden.
Dude, so we had a pre-show party for that weekend of the fans that came with, and they had a special guest wrestling travel. This is before I worked with them. They called me out to check out what they do. They said, we've got a special guest for all these fans at a pre-show party on Saturday. It's Eric Bischoff. And I'm like, cool, man. I've never met Eric Bischoff. Now, I'm in the Midwest. I'm a huge AWA fan. So I'm like, dude, if poor Eric Bischoff ever gets stuck in a room with me, I got to ask him about Ricky Rice and all these guys that nobody else knows about, just because inquiring minds want to know. I get to their party, and my story about New York is jump on with Cal with Wrestling Travel. We're going to this pre-show party in Brooklyn, and he goes, jump. So this British guy says, jump on the subway with me. I'm from Wisconsin, and I'm going, I don't think we're going anywhere near Brooklyn. We're on the wrong subway. And I asked somebody, whole group of people, like, hey, we're lost. Well, nobody says a word to me. Like, you talk about being different from a small town, whatever. We finally get out, and Cal's like, we're late for this party. And he's like, we'll ask somebody else. And we'll go, and I go, fuck this, dude. I will get a cab. I'm paying for it. Whatever. It's going to be $100, but I'm like, I can't figure out the subway system. So turns out Eric Bischoff canceled. Couldn't be on that show. And
oh, no.
I got there, and they told me that. And I said, well, who's your plan B? And I think this is how I got the job with these guys. They're like, we don't have a plan B. I said, you just told 200 people from the UK you got a special guest. So luckily, me, because I have a big mouth, was talking to a ring announcer from another company who was brought in James Storm. My first call was to the Beer City Bruiser. And he's like, dude, we're doing Festival of Honor, dude. I can't. But I'm like, hey, I just thought I'd ask. Called James Storm, called up this guy and said, hey, let me talk to whoever's handling James Storm, because I don't want to step on anybody's toes.
Correct.
And the guy goes, well, I don't know if James Storm will want to do it. And I go, dude, put him on. I don't care if he doesn't want to do it. He can't do it. I'm at least going to offer the guy the money to do it and let him decide, as long as I'm not stepping on toes. And without knowing me from anybody, Storm's like, do I have to take a bump? Dude, we're at a bar with a bunch of English people who come in. We're going to hand you a Coors Light. And I think everybody had a really good time. So that's my New York City story. Besides the fact that as I limped out of New York City because I had a bad wheel, the traffic cop stopped me, patted me on the back, and thanked me like I had been in the main event of WrestleMania the night before. Thanks for coming and all the business I brought to the town. And I'm like, well, and I'm with a couple other wrestling travel. So yeah, I just sold it. Like, yeah.
You're like, you're right, brother. No problem.
Not a problem.
I'm king shit. No.
Yeah, can't sign anything right now.
I did Blackcraft the night before Madison Square Garden, and it was in New Jersey. And I'm like, man, I'm looking at cabs, and I'm broke. I'm a broke indie wrestler, by the way. Broke. I barely got to New York. I was sharing a room with like 7 other dudes. 7 or 8 other dudes. We were jam packing it. And I'm going, and I'm with, I run into Bestia 666 and Damien 666 that I know forever. And they're like, hey man, where are you going? I was like, I'm going to Blackcraft. They're like, oh cool, you want to share an Uber? I was like, yeah, we're looking at the Uber prices. He goes, hey man, grab the Uber because for some reason my visa's not working out here and I'll just give you cash. I'm like, all right, cool. And I'm looking at the thing and it's like Uber's like $150, $200, 300. And I'm like, I can't like straight out, put that on my credit card.
Put that on my card, yeah.
I'm broke. Thankfully, we ran into this woman and a kid and their friend, and they're like, we're headed to Blackcraft. And we're like, can we jump in with you? They're like, yeah, we have an SUV. Absolutely. I was like, oh my God, yes. And so we all jumped in, and then they all took us, and then they waited for us because they were staying at the WrestleCon hotel. They waited for us after we were done to drive us back to the hotel. So we didn't have to pay any Ubers. It was great. Fantastic. Hats off to them. Thank you.
That's absolutely. I said this. We started this lockdown session because WrestleMania got canceled with the COVID. Yep. We were supposed to do the WrestleMania pub crawl. We were going to sponsor it. And all the money goes to pediatric cancer. Obviously, everything got canceled. The main guys that do the pub crawl, Wednesday night before Mania, give me a shout and say, we're going to do a virtual pub crawl on Twitch. None of those words made sense to me at the time, but I said, I'm in. And the money's going to go to the Red Cross. So my point of the story is people in general society will look their nose down at our profession and specifically the fans of our profession. But I'm going to tell you this, professional wrestling fans, for the most part, obviously there's exceptions, are one of the most giving and generous people in the world. We raised $3,300 for the Red Cross WrestleMania weekend when nobody knew, and some people still don't, where's my next dollar coming from? Because I said, people look at it like $3,300, that's not much. Bullshit. When we're in the middle of not just a pandemic, but if you can go back to that time, actually
it seems so far long ago, huh?
It does, and we didn't really know what was up, what was down,
right.
So
I didn't even hear. I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off. I didn't even hear about the coronavirus at all until I got to Vegas. I had no idea what the coronavirus was at all.
They canceled the show on you guys, right? When you got there,
we get to Vegas. I literally just signed my deal with Ring of Honor. Just signed my deal, and we're in Vegas. And next thing you know, I'm with a buddy. We're at the gym. We're doing our thing. I get a text. Hey, shows are canceled. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what do you mean the shows are canceled? Like, what is this? And next thing you know, my buddy, who's an indie wrestler, his phone starts blowing up about all of his cancellations. And he goes, dude, it's a coronavirus. I'm like, what is the coronavirus? What is this coronavirus? And realizing that this thing is real. And next thing you know, Vegas shuts down. And thankfully, I was with the Ring of Honor family, and we did a few things here and there, which Mandy Leon, on her YouTube channel, you could watch the whole vlog of what we did. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, it was just like, and then next thing you know, I'm driving back to Baltimore, and Ring of Honor is like, hey, you can go home. And I was like, cool. So I flew back to California, where I'm currently living, and now I'm back full time in California.
That's awesome. And some of the things, Beer City Bruiser, good friend of the show, fellow Wisconsin guy, Silas Young, some of the guys that we see, If you
Love
watch the
Silas.
social media, all they have said is, having Matt Taven and PCO on, what a great job, Ring of Honor. And our hats are off to them. A company that cares specifically about its talent and the fans coming to it, taking care of everybody throughout this entire crisis. So, and now coming back strong with this peer title tournament and this sports-oriented a view on everything. Like from a guy on the outside looking in, and a fan of the business and everything, that's awesome. But what does that mean to you guys inside the Ring of Honor that they took such and continue to take such good care of you guys?
Yeah, I can't thank Ring of Honor enough, the Sinclair family enough. What they've done for all of us and keeping us, paid during this whole pandemic. We would all be probably looking for day jobs if not, and then that would have been even harder. We all have families that we all have to support. Sinclair is a family. Ring of Honor is a family. And if you're welcomed into the family, they treat you like your own. And that's absolutely fantastic. I've never worked for a company like this. I say it before. I've said it again and again on all my social media. Follow me at Sledge805. I work for the best company in the world. I would not want to be anywhere else, any way, shape, and form. I literally work for the best company in the world, the best staff, they've kept us completely 100% safe through this whole thing. And then what we're pumping out now with the peer tournament, holy mother, the reviews has been absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal. I love watching it. I'm not a pure wrestler, but I respect the pure wrestler. And I was training with Jonathan Gresham at the dojo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Who's one of the best wrestlers in the world, if not the best technical wrestler in the world. And it's just one of those, I'm very blessed to be in the position I'm in right now. And I'm ready to show the world what I can do.
Yeah, we're excited. I mean, I can't thank you enough for, like I said, I just reached out and said, hey, I saw on Twitter that some of you guys, Beer City Bruiser in particular, is like, I got a PlayStation, I got us. So I'm like, hey, I reached out to Ring of Honor and said, we've had a few guys on before. I think it might be win-win. It can keep you, at least take out a little bit of time of your day.
Did you see Beer City's tweet about me? It was hilarious.
No, what did you say? Do I gotta look it up?
He said it was so funny. It popped me huge. He goes, because I've been working out in my room, doing cardio, high knees, butt kicks. So I'm sorry for the person down below me, which I found out who it was, and he wasn't too happy.
Okay.
But Beer City decides to do a video vlog on it being haunted, the hotel being haunted, or it's me working out, one of them two, because I'm shaking the whole damn hotel. It was absolutely
awesome.
Hilarious.
I got to check it out. Listen to the video. Yeah, that's awesome. So always, and that's what we get to at the end and we'll get to it at the end. I know we've already pushed your socials, but as wrestling fans, it's cool to be able to keep up with you. I mean, I didn't have, social media back in the day when we were kids growing up, but as a fan to be able to go, and I'm not talking that I could go, hey, Sledge, how are you? Blah, blah, but the fact that I could just kind of watch a little, that's good enough for me. I'm not always like, I always think it's weird. I don't know a guy and I'm going to go, hey, how are you? But I can watch things like Beer City Bruiser. One thing I want to ask, I kind of went off on a tangent there. We're going to get your Twitter feeds in. But in that story on your road to Ring of Honor, what's your relationship with Steve Austin that you were on his show, or how did that come about?
It was kind of out of thin air, honestly. AJ Kirsch is one of my best friends. Was on Tough Enough season 2 or 3, one of those two, the one that Steve Austin did.
Yeah.
And I was traveling with him during the weekend. He just got done doing all the video work. What is it? The stunt work for the game, the 2K18 game.
Okay.
And he blew out his wheel doing it. And we were traveling to a show in Arizona that we were both booked on. And he goes, hey, man, like on Sunday, I might need to drop you off at a Starbucks or something because I have something to do. And I'm thinking to myself, he has an audition. He's an actor. He's got an audition or something like that. We're in Hollywood. We're in LA. We're like, yeah. Next thing you know, his phone goes off and it says Steve Austin. And I'm like, is that? He goes, puts it on speaker. And he goes, hey, Steve, what's up? He goes, hey, kid, what time are we doing this on Sunday? And I look at him, you kayfabing son of a, you know? And he goes, I don't know, man. Like, how about like 2 o'clock? Yeah, that would be fine. He goes, hey, can I bring a buddy with me? He goes, is the buddy a worker? He goes, yeah. He goes, tell your buddy to kiss my ass. And I'm popping in his passenger seat. Like, Austin just told me to kiss his ass. Hell yeah. Right on. And he goes, nah, man, bring him. It's cool. And I'm like, oh, no way. So long story short, me and Steve Austin, and met Steve Austin, we started rapping, we started talking. He realized I had a backstory with addiction and wanted to get my word out and get my, I spilled my beans on, I spilled it all on Steve. I went from broke, like why not, right?
Yep.
And it turned out to be great. And I still text Steve, we still text back and forth every couple months. When I signed my Ring of Honor deal, I sent him a video of it, me signing my deal and him going, hell yeah, kid. Before I went into the tryout, he gave me some words of encouragement. It's just one of those guys who I thank so much for giving me the platform to share my story and try to launch my career, because I literally was a nobody. I mean, technically I still am a nobody, but to have the stamp of approval by a guy like Steve Austin, it goes a long way. It really does.
And it's funny that, people will talk in this business like, oh, I don't get excited anymore. I work so hard that my role models become my peers and this and that. And I'll go, yeah, but you know what? I still get a little bit that your heart thumping and fluttering inside when you're on a show with a guy that, hey, I watched when he was on TV, or like a real big fan of the work, Well, I'm not a mark. Bullshit. We're all marks.
Bullshit. We're all marks.
Yeah. I said, no way.
It's the same thing when when I talked to Gangrel, he was my idol growing up. I loved the Brood. Loved it. And I've wrestled Gangrel multiple times. I still get that little kid feeling in my stomach and in my heart every time I talk to him.
And doing these shows, I'm telling you what, I've been so nervous. Like I talked about Nikita Koloff. That's a guy who I couldn't even watch because I only had 3 channels. He was in the magazines. And eventually, we go off for like an hour and 20. But for a while, who else have I had out? So many people that I'm like, Al Snow I had on last week, and I was shitting my pants because I'm like, that dude knows more about wrestling in his little finger than I ever will. I hope I don't look like a dick. But go ahead. What were you going to say?
I know your feeling because I do a talk show as well on Twitch.
Right, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah. And I know your feeling. I know exactly what you're feeling because I've had some big guests on. I'm going, I can't believe they agreed to do this. Like for sure. I know you're feeling all too well.
PCO, when PCO, good friend of Wrestling Travel, we push his stuff out all over. Yeah. Well, PCO, I love the guy, but he's like, I want to, I'll do the show, this and that. So I messaged him, and then pretty soon he could go, I didn't get the email. He's telling Wrestling Travel. I'm like, I'll send it again. I have a .org email, which sometimes definitely goes into the junk mail. So finally, I get it out to him. I get a call back from Mark, Ring of Honor Public Relations, going, hey, dude, you're doing this wrong. You can't be going out to talent like that. And I'll go, fucking PCO, why didn't you just tell me?
Right.
Oh, yeah, I sent it to him. So I was nervous as shit to do PCO because I'm like, dude, if he does this in gimmick, I'm a dead man. You know what I mean? In character. But the nicest guy in the world. But I was like, I felt bad with
PCO is amazing.
Yeah. With Mark from PR, I go, well, I tried to explain as best I could in type, which if you text anybody and you're like me, you have to put smiley faces and exclamation points because otherwise they think you're mad. But I'm going, listen, buddy, I'm really sorry, but I thought, how do I say to him, well, your PCO said he'd be on the show, so I just figured I didn't, But
it was funny. It was funny with Mark. He decided to, when I got underneath the Ring of Honor banner, and they decided that they were going to start using me and start kind of getting me out there more and more and more. Mark was in my phone very quickly, going, "Hey, all interviews go through me now," and I'm like, "Yeah," I said, "that makes my life 10 times easier." Because if I don't feel like doing it, I'll just, if I don't feel like doing it, I'll just tell you I don't want to do it. But I'm usually open to anything when it comes to podcasts. I mean, the way I look at it is it gets my name out there even more and more, even if your audience is, 15 people and you're just rebuilding, or you have an audience of 10,000 people or 10 million, it's still getting my name out there. And usually I gain at least 1 or 2 follows from doing these things. So, and it gives me another platform to tell my story on. So.
Yeah, the goal with my whole lockdown sessions was, what can I do? After we raised money for the Red Cross, we had 284 YouTube subscribers. And I'm like, well, at least we're the verified tick on Twitter. 50,000 people follow us on Facebook. And I'm like, what I want to do is, I'm all about indie wrestling. I love the big times. If you want to go to the WWE or whatever, that's great. But independent wrestling to me is where it's at, where you're going to, because I got sick of promoting my own shows and listening to people go, well, I don't want to go to amateur professional wrestling. I'm like, oh, hold on. We're going to see a lot of really cool people. But I'm like, how can I help during this time of crisis? And I wanted to get people on and go, let's promote what you're doing on social media, promote your gimmick, sell a t-shirt. And worst case scenario, maybe somebody sees this and later on, when things get back to normal, they find out, hey, so-and-so is going to be in a town a half hour away. Hey, I saw an interview. He seemed pretty cool. Let's go see it. So that was my whole
100%.
point of this. And it's grown from there to where I was like, all right, I'm gonna ask Nikita Koloff if he wants to do an interview, we'll see what happens, and guys that I've had on, I'm really proud of the list of guys and gals that we've had on. And I was really happy when I just sent Mark a message going, and I don't want to give away my trade secrets here, but I'm like, guys are in the bubble. I was just curious. And he comes back with you. And I'm like, fuck yeah. Yeah, please. That's awesome. So I got to thank you. Even though it comes with the little asterisk, you were bored as shit in a hotel room. But I'm taking it, as you wanted to be on the show.
I'll take it. Yeah, man. When Mark reached out to me, I said, hell yeah, man. Like, anything Ring of Honor needs me to do, or anything Ring of Honor wants me to do, I'm all for it, man. I'm all for the company. They've treated me like $1 million. Why would I not treat them like $1 million back?
Right. And we love Ring of Honor, huge supporter, but we're on that, we're a company in the UK, and right now, without travel being possible, I love that Ring of Honor is not playing with the, well, what can you do for me, this and that, because I would love to someday be like, hey, Wrestling Travel sponsors Ring of Honor, stuff like that. Like, we'd love to, but I love that right now we're all playing together because of the way the world is. And that's what if I have to take something positive out of 2020, it's just stuff like this. Like if you're going full schedule right now and it's not the pandemic, there's probably not a chance in hell we're able to squeeze in some time, because you're going to be busy. And we're a UK company, if we were some huge one. So that's what I appreciate out of this. Besides my incoherent rambling, let's talk about your podcast. What was it called? I think I cut you off because we were telling stories, but
it's not actually a podcast. It's kind of a visual interaction on Twitch. Okay. It's called Coffee with Sledge. All I do is sit there and have coffee and talk to people. That's literally all I do. And we've had fantastic guests on. Fantastic. We just had Jay Lethal. Yeah, we just had Jay Lethal. We've had Angelina Love. We've had Gabe Tuff come on. We've had Joshua Coburn come on. We've had, man, the list, and it all happened out of COVID. A buddy of mine, Marty Casales, is a buddy of mine who is Marty the Moth from Lucha Underground. He talked to me about Twitch about a year ago. He's like, dude, you got to get on Twitch. You got to do this thing with Twitch, bro. Like, you could work out on Twitch if people pay you to work out. And I'm like, that's a little weird, but okay. So I didn't think anything of it. And I started doing Instagram Live. And I started bringing people in Instagram Live. Just sitting on my porch at home, drinking coffee, bringing people in. Next thing I know, I reached out to Silas. And Silas is like, yeah, man, let's do this. And I was like, sweet. So I just sat there and just did an interview thing with Silas. And I was like, man, this is kind of cool. And a lot of people really enjoyed it. Also, it helps me learn to talk as well. It helps me learn how to talk. Stop saying and like, which now I'm probably going to say it ridiculously because I just said both those words. But see, I almost said right there.
I was waiting for you to go.
Yeah, I know. I almost said right there. But I just took it as a platform to really help people out. And then Ziggy got on Twitch. Ziggy Dice, NWA television champion. He got on Twitch. And he goes, dude, you got to do because he popped into me and Silas. He's like, dude, you got to do that stuff on Twitch, man. And I'm like, Marty talked to me about Twitch before. And I don't really want to go out and buy a laptop right now in a pandemic because, well, they're all sold out. But, it just kind of snowballed. I was like, fine, let's do it. And I started kind of doing it. It took me a while to figure it out. And then I have a great producer now who is absolutely fantastic with everything. He pushes all the buttons. I just Discord in what we use Discord. I Discord in behind green screen with lights, and he does all the button pushing, and he's also my co-host as well. And just kind of snowballed. And it's all just kind of snowballed. And now we're booked all the way to December with guests. Yeah, and we did it last time I was in the bubble. It didn't turn out very well. It was really, really bad because the Wi-Fi here was not very good. So I chose not to do it this week because I was going to be in the bubble, and I returned back Monday. I don't know when this airs, but it comes back.
I'm not sure either. I send it back to the UK, and they take care of it. But
okay, well,
I know what you're talking. Oh, go ahead. Now we're both going to pause. I know what you're talking about. My very first interview, like I said, we tried to bring guests places. We started working with Alicia Atut out of Toronto. And I said, when I started this, I'm like, one of my first name guests, I'm like, Alicia, can I do an interview with you? I cannot watch that one back right now because it is so many ums and ahs. And I was like, I watch it. Now, if it's on, I'm like, I'm going to kill that guy if he says one more time. And that's me. So I think once you get more confident and going, like with this, I still, Santino Marella, when I did him, I talked about being nervous with Al, but Al Snow made me very comfortable. But because I love watching his interviews, and I'm like, he's so cerebral about the sport, to me that I'm just like, man, I can listen to him all day. But Santino, who was gracious enough last summer to let us come to the Battle Arts Academy Wrestling Travel and check out their pro wrestling class, because our founder had actually never seen pro wrestling training. And he's just, it's just serious, Mr. Judo and everything, and he's in his own. Nicest guy in the world, not saying anything. So then they got on and said, hey, Santino will do an interview with you. And I'm going, shit. Because he's so, like, I don't think I'm going to get him to laugh. It's like going to an autograph signing and trying to see Greg the Hammer Valentine smile. It's not going to happen. But,
it's not going to.
Yeah, exactly. I was at AEW's little fan fest, and we're seated across, and I'm like, bro, I will give you $5 if you can go over there and make Greg the Hammer Valentine smile. Well, you might as well just give me your $5 now, because I've never seen it, and I've seen Greg 110 times, and I even went over there myself and tried to tell. I was telling whoever he was sitting next to Oscar from Men on a Mission. So I started trying to do my shtick, and Valentine just looking at me like I've got spinach in my teeth, which was, it's a cool memory. But yeah, I've never seen the guy smile. I don't know if I ever will. But where was I going with this?
I have no clue.
Yeah, thanks. You're supposed to keep me on track here.
I'm trying to grab a hold here, brother, but you keep.
I know, I just keep talking. So I'm gonna go. So the coffee was Sledge, because I still don't understand Twitch. But when does that air at a certain time? Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or
we do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Perfect. Now, when something airs on Twitch, if I'm we're out of the UK, and let's say I can't watch it that day live, is it remain on Twitch to watch like YouTube?
Yes,
it does.
Absolutely. Yes. So you can go to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Sledge805. That's all my tags for everything. I keep it easy for everybody, which is smart. And you can watch all of my previous interviews that I've done. I'm pretty sure the whole archive is in there, and you can see where it started to where it is now. And when I get back, we're going to make the show bigger. We're actually going to make it a show. That's all I'm going to say.
That's all you can do. Okay, I'm waiting.
That's all, yeah, no, that's all I'm going to say. I'm working with a couple people to make it bigger. We're sponsored by great people. Mad Cat Beard Care, which I have my own beard oil now, which is absolutely fantastic. I don't know if anybody knows that. It's called Metalhead Mocha. It smells fantastic, and you're a beard guy. I see the beard. Okay, head over to Mad Cat Beard Care. You grab yourself a bottle. Add my promo code Sledge. You get 10% off.
Look at this, fantastic.
Boom. On top of that, I have partnered with a guy named AC Slade. I'm not quite sure if you know who he is. He used to be the bass player in Joan Jett. He was also the bass player in the Murder Dolls.
Okay.
And he was also played in the Misfits and the original bass player in a band called Dope. He owns a coffee called Catfight Coffee, who sponsors our show as well. So head over to catfightcoffee.com, type in Sledge15, you get 15% off your orders.
Look at this. I'm saving money here.
That's what I do.
You're going to be like that. Do you remember that guy that was in Vegas, the car deal, the price chopper? That's you, man.
That's me, man.
You don't remember.
I'm waiting for more.
Pretending you do.
I'm waiting for more. I'm waiting for more sponsors to come through.
There you go. So how does one just reach out? Reach out to you on your Twitter DM if I'm a sponsor watching this, right?
Yes, Twitter DM or my email is all over the place as well. That's how AC got a hold of me. I thought it was a rib. I really did. I was like AC Slade. I was like, what? I'm a huge music fan. And I'm a huge Murder Doll fan. And I'm like, what? AC Slade like really reached out to me? Like, what's going on here? I was a huge Dope fan. The band Dope, huge. Like in the 2000s, they were the shit. And I'm like, man, these guys are like, he's reaching out to me. Like, what the hell? And I emailed him back, and I exchanged, gave him my phone number. Next thing you know, he's calling me. We're talking. I'm like, holy crap, nicest guy in the freaking world.
That's awesome.
And he's helping us. He's helping because we just don't do pro wrestlers. We've done a lot of pro wrestlers, but we do motivational speakers. Cindy Coburn. I don't know if you know who she is, but she's a motivational speaker. And that girl, if you listen to the episode I did with her, we had people crying in the chat because of her story. I was almost tearing up from her story. And that's what I do is I like to bring people on to help motivate others. It's just not a wrestling podcast or video cast. I guess it would be a video cast, right? I guess would be the best way to put it. It's not just a wrestling video cast. It's something to help motivate you and make you feel like you're a part of the show as well, because we read your guys' comments. We stop in the middle of our interview and we read your guys' comments and we take your questions. And We do all of that fun stuff, and that's a great thing about Twitch.
Now, let me ask this because I don't know. Are you able to take and maybe you guys have, do you take just the audio part and put it as like a podcast on like iTunes or Spotify, or is that not yet? Or
We have talked about doing that. That's totally doable. We have definitely talked about doing that, but I could be starting another podcast very soon.
Cool.
And doing a full-fledged podcast. It's in the beginning stages is the best way to put it.
No, because I know a lot of us that we drive, we do the drives town to town, and sometimes it's nice to, I can only do music for so long.
I do so many podcasts when I'm doing road trips. So that's usually where I catch up on most of my podcasts, or when I'm on road trips. It makes the time go by so much faster just listening to somebody talk. And if they're entertaining, it's even better.
Right.
So Gabe Tuff from the owner of Body Spartan was on my show. We were talking. I'm a huge fan of his. Huge fan of Gabe Tuff. Huge fan of the Body Spartan brand. Like, this guy is like an idol of mine. And be able to get him on the show and now consider him a friend. And now we're talking about doing a podcast together, doing a motivational podcast is just, it's in the beginning stages right now. Like nothing's been signed, so delivered. We haven't even crossed the bridge to do that yet. But there has definitely been talks. We're definitely both on board to do it. It just makes my schedule even busier. That's all.
Well, I'll tell you what, when we get back to a normal world, we're always looking for sponsors, and we like to sponsor stuff too. But at the very least, once that gets going, we'll get that pushed out on our socials too. The one thing, and I want to be respectful of your time, but I gotta talk to you because now I've joined the world probably 3 months ago, the world of TikTok. I see when the email came through, you're on TikTok as well at Sledge 805, I believe. I just got an email yesterday. My TikTok, for some reason, blew up. I only got TikTok so I could be a subscriber to Wrestling Travel and just be like, hey, at least we got one more. So Wrestling Travel currently sits at like 1,300 people subscribing. I'm at 18,900 or 19,000. So I got this email on how I could monetize TikTok. I have no idea how to work, but where are you at on TikTok? Are you at the same level that I'm at, or are you probably more than I?
6,000 something.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I got a 1.1 million viewed video, and all I'm just wrestling clips because I can set it to some cool music. So I'm not really even a freaking star.
I'm not even. The TikTok thing is weird. It's very interesting. One video will do very good. Another video will do nothing. It's very interesting with TikTok. But I've done a few TikToks since being in the bubble. One has definitely, I want to say gone viral. Not viral, not 1 point something million like that. It definitely did a lot. I think it did a lot better on my Instagram than it did on my TikTok, but it's still going, I guess would be the best way to put it. It's a motivational one of where I was to where I am now. And it was it was awesome to do is the best way to put it.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do right now live while we're doing this is just make sure that I'm a follower.
You following me?
Yeah. Yeah, no rhyme or reason why I should have close to 20,000 people following my TikToks. And the only reason I have fun with it is I can set some cool moves. Now that everybody does all the high spot monkey stuff, here's my goal. Here's my tip for you. Everybody doing, if you can get a 30-second clip of people doing just spot monkey stuff, set it to Run DMC. It's tricky and it'll look like you planned it and edited it out. That's my word of advice. So
I've posted wrestling stuff on there and it hasn't done very well. For some strange reason, me with my shirt off does fantastic. I don't know.
Hey, And if I had my shirt off, I would not be at 18,000. I would be at maybe. So, I mean, it works out. So, real quickly, a couple more questions. This is what I mean. I shoot for 20 minutes, and here we are talking like we've known each other for 10 years. You're a music fan.
Easy,
I know you are. I just want to get your thoughts, and maybe nobody's asked you, but we just lost Eddie Van Halen. You're a California guy.
Correct.
You used
to work for Ernie Ball. Used to work for Ernie Ball as well, who originally Eddie Van Halen originally started with his guitar. So there's a little bit of history for you. It's sad, 2020 has literally beat the living, and they're still beating on us. It's true. Like, we've lost some amazing people in 2020. Really amazing people. And then I just found out that the lady from 2.5 Men, the nanny, the nanny passed. It's like, guys, I know that's a total different way.
No, but we're on 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of 2.5 Men. I'm a huge fan of that show. And Berta was, she made the show. She really did.
Definitely did. Yeah. And I forget her exact age, but when I found out how old she was years ago.
Yeah, she was in her 70s. She was in her 70s. Yeah, when she passed.
She didn't look like she was in her 70s.
No way. But back to Eddie Van Halen passing was it was definitely heartbreaking. It was tragic. It really was.
It's even when we have people in the wrestling business that, how do I say it? Like, I don't know Eddie Van Halen, but I grew up liking his music. I didn't know, Kamala, but when it hits hard, especially this year too. I think with everything, it really hits hard. But you know what I'm saying? You grow, especially in this business, when you're a fan and you watch it. I feel like that connection. Like, I know these guys.
Van Halen was one of those groups that I grew up on. And people are like, man, you must be hella old. Like, no, let me rephrase everything real quick. My sister, I used to listen to rap a lot back in the day. Like, when I was, getting into, my teenage years, I was listening to a lot of rap. My sister would play metal music. And she put on Van Halen. She put on Anthrax. Who else? Like Hendrix and all of these people. I'm like, man, what is it? Like Metallica. I'm like, what is this music? Like, this is awesome. And she dropped a rabbit hole. Next thing you know, raps out, metal's in, and Van Halen. I mean, when Jump comes on, you can't not sing it. When big name stuff like that comes on, it's kind of like when Motley Crue's Girls, Girls, Girls comes on. Everybody's like, it doesn't matter who you are, Girls, Girls, Girls. And that's the way Van Halen, you knew a Van Halen riff. You knew his style of playing guitar. You knew all of that. And that's what separates the regulars from the greats. When you could have that defining sound. Also the guitar player for Five Finger Death Punch just left the band.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow. That's great. They're amazing.
Surgery. He had like gallbladder surgery or something like that before COVID hit, and then they were playing with a replacement guitar player, and then I guess they decided to take the replacement guitar player, and he left the band. Corey Taylor's new album's amazing.
I haven't heard it yet. My nephew is a huge Corey Taylor fan. You got to see him perform live. Oh, go ahead.
CMFT is an amazing album. A lot of people are like, that's not really Corey Taylor. That's not his sound, man, because he's not doing the Slipknot thing or the Stone Sour thing. He's doing like rock and roll, and it's fantastic. So good.
I got to check it out. I love that because you look at somebody like and I'll get back to my question, but like Kid Rock doing the stuff, and he says in his interview years ago that this is what I did to get popular, the ball with the ball and the cowboy stuff, but he's a huge like country guy and stuff. And then to hear him sing, like I'm not a professional, I'm not Simon Cowell, but I'm like, dude, I love the stuff. I'll take a lot of heat for Kid Rock, but I don't talk politics or anything because I'm not getting into it. I'm like, I don't care if it's Boys to Men or In Sync. If I hear it and I like it, I don't give a shit. It's cool, you know.
Who cares?
Right.
Control your inner circle.
100%.
Who cares what other people think? If that's what you like to do and you're not hurting anybody, do it. Who cares?
So I keep saying that I'm not going to take too much of your time, but you mentioned listening to rap, your sister listening to metal like Anthrax. Mm-hmm. How about Public Enemy and Anthrax, Bring the Noise, 1991? Were you into that?
I wasn't. What was I? I was 6 in 91.
Yeah, I'm an old man.
But I definitely heard it. Yes.
Okay, so then I'm gonna.
I love rap rock. I really do. I'm a huge rap rock guy. Like Limp Bizkit was my shit and still is my shit. I will.
There is a guy. Go ahead. Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit is my. Oh, sorry, I'm back.
That's all right.
I should be back. All right, sorry, my battery was like, hey, you only have 20%.
Oh shit, we got to get going then. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. You got 20%. My charger literally is like right there. It's not that big of a deal. So I have to run. I have to run very far to grab it. That's one thing. Like me and Sunny Kiss have in common is like me and Sunny Kiss. Like we love each other. She is a fantastic human being, but we both love Limp Bizkit. I love Limp Bizkit. It's you put Limp Bizkit on and it's my day's set. 100%. But yes, the rap rock is that whole genre of music, that era, to Stained, to Korn, Limp Bizkit. Oh jeez, what's another one? Dope. Man, who else is in that Soil, Edema. The list could go on and on and on and on. Like that whole genre was just like what I grew up on. I'm just like, that's freaking metal rock, So go on. Sorry.
No, you're good because I'm the same way. I keep getting excited. I got like 3 questions in my head right now. I know. So the band came out right around the time of Stuck Mojo or let me see, Stuck Mojo right here.
Nope.
Come on, internet.
I think I have to go home.
Hang on 1 second. Can you hear me now?
Yep, I got you.
All right, so sorry I missed your answer, but Stuck Mojo came out right around Limp Bizkit time. I have a rattle. Stupid internet.
I didn't catch it. You kind of broke up.
All right. Yeah. We're going to try it again. I'm cursing my internet. Of course, that's the only part that's going to come through now is me.
Right.
Yeah. Stuck Mojo was a band that came out right around the time Limp Bizkit did. Yes, rap metal. The only reason why I remember their first album had a picture of the WCW US title on their cover. And they took out an ad in Pro Wrestling Illustrated that said, if you don't like Stuck Mojo, you're wrong. And it was a quote from Diamond Dallas Page. So I was like, cool, man, I got to check these guys out. Well, fast forward to 2019. I'm covering events up in Canada, and we're in Montreal. And we did the Santino thing. I said, let's go check out. He's got a great school. Let's go check out a smaller school. So I meet a guy named Robbie Fonts, training up in Montreal. The complete training school is done in French, so I was blown away. I love watching. I don't speak a lick of French, but I understood everything they were saying from going through my training. I look up Robbie. He lives in Chicago, but he's up there in Canada. And I'm looking at his Twitter. I'm like, this dude loves Stuck Mojo. That's really weird because I haven't thought about Stuck Mojo since. I look further. He's the fucking lead singer of Stuck Mojo, and he's a pro wrestler. And I'm like, dude,
oh, shit.
I would have been shaking everybody's hands, go, hi, I'm Justin, and I'm the lead singer of blah, blah, blah. But he's such a calm, polite kid, and then he gets out on the stage and rocks it. So I go, bro, when's like the next time you're touring? He goes, well, it's kind of weird. hard to because the band is basically Fozzy, so they're out with Jericho right now, and I'm like, dude, this is so cool. So anyway, we got to add Stuck Mojo to the list. But
it's kind of like Green Jelly. The lead singer of Green Jelly lives in my hometown too. He lives where I live at. He literally lives I don't know, a couple blocks away. So,
dude, do you have the original Green Jello? Because that might be worth something.
I don't.
That's how it goes. So the one thing I'm going to leave you with is, and we're going to have one more question because we want to push all your stuff again. But you gave me the 10% off code, the 15% off code, not just to me, but I'm going to leave you with this little gem, and you're going to blow it by going, yeah, dude, I totally know all about this already, so you're on. If you get a chance, you will love probably 1992, the soundtrack for the movie Judgment Night. Have you? Dude, it's rock bands paired up with rappers. The first track, I believe, is Helmet and House of Pain.
Oh, I love Helmet. Hell yeah.
Dude, it's worth it. I tell you what, it either still holds up today or I just live in the past. But it's got Cypress Hill, Pearl Jam. It's Mudhoney and Sir Mix-a-Lot. It's just, if nothing else, it's going to entertain you for the 40 minutes. But I think Judgment Night is the main song, number one. It's Helmet and House of Pain.
I will definitely look that up. But like one of my favorite soundtracks is like the Rockstar soundtrack, when the movie Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg. That's like one of my favorite movies ever. And that soundtrack is freaking amazing. And I love it.
Who's on that?
So, Motley Crue's on it. A lot of stuff from what were they called? Steel Dragon is on it. Like the whole album is just phenomenal. A lot of the songs they did in the movie, they put on the soundtrack, and they did full versions of. It's
killer. All right, dude. I'll trade you. I'll download that. You download Judgment Night. Just check it out. So
I will.
Sledge, thank you for staying with me this entire 20-minute interview. So that was my little joke there. I always say we go 20, but my final question. I was waiting for the, what do they call it? The rim shot.
The rim shot.
Yeah. So last question, most important question I ask all day. We kind of covered it, but as a fan, where can we follow you on socials? Where can I buy any Sledge merch? I know you said, give me your social. I want you to do your whole thing right here. I'm going to shut up.
If you guys want to find me, my Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, it's all Sledge805. It's super easy. My Twitter's, my Twitch is Sledge805 as well, twitch.tv/Sledge805. Check me out on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Coffee with Sledge. We have amazing guests come on. We sit there and we're doing exactly what I'm doing with this man right here. We sit here, we BS, and we have fun. And then make sure you guys check me out on Ring of Honor TV very, very soon.
Now, do you have T-shirts and merchandise out there that we can get?
I do not. I don't have any merch as of right now, but I could do some 8x10s if they really want some signed 8x10s. I could do that.
Awesome. Fantastic. So hang on. After you're gonna love the close of my show. It's like the Chris Farley show. I have no clothes.
I love that guy.
Yeah. So don't hang up on me because I've had a lot of guests hang up on me right after I do the close. So Sledge.
All right, man. See you later, bud.
Yeah, here we go. This guy. I've already pissed him off at the beginning. He's hanging up on me. So that's it. We want to thank you, Sledge, for joining us at Wrestling Travel. We look forward to watching everything that you're doing and hopefully get you back on again. So thank you very much.
You know the right channels to go through, my friend. Just once they give me the green, I'll do it.